What does Zyn really give you? Not just smoke-free nicotine satisfaction, but also real freedom to do more of what you love, when and where you want to do it. Why bring Zyn along for the ride? Because America's #1 nicotine pouch opens up all the possibilities of right now. With Zyn, you don't just find freedom, you keep finding it. Find your Zyn. Learn more at Zyn.com. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Minnesota OKC tonight. Tony believes that Minnesota's size will be a problem for OKC, has been a problem for OKC. I'm used to the 68-win team always wins this series, JuJu, with one noticeable exception. Golden State winning 72 games, being up 3-1, and then losing to LeBron, Kyrie, Draymond goes crazy. Do you expect Minnesota to be hugely problematic for the Thunder?
Yeah, I think they will be hugely problematic for the Thunder. I don't know if their size will be a problem, you feel me? But I think that Ant-Man has shown, he has shown everybody in the world that he can perform in those big moments. I think that the Minnesota Timberwolves, like they did the Lakers, you got to beat them. You're going to have to go through their defense. You're going to have to actually execute. And some of the performances they had last series, J-Dub, I see you. You can't have those games off against this team right here. I definitely believe my brother Tony when he says that it will be a problem for them boys.
Jude, the other thing, too, is you saw Denver go to a zone and defending SGA in a different way, and that kind of caused the role players for Oklahoma City to have to go and score. And we saw J-Dub put up 3 games of sub 30% shooting from the field, sub 20% shooting from the field until that last game. But I think Minnesota, Chris Finch and them boys are looking around and saying, okay, wait a second, we got Gobert, we could play a bit of a zone, we've got some defenders, McDaniels, we could throw out a couple different looks to confuse SGA and to force some of those role players that are still young, Chet Holmgren, to force them to score, and I think that's what could be interesting in the series.
Right. I think the NBA playoffs is a great source of blueprints. You feel me? Like every other series you can look at it and say, oh, dang, this is what worked for Denver and this is what didn't work. So I think that given their cast of people performing some of those same tasks against that team, it could prove to be a problem. You know what I mean?
I think the depth with Denver was the issue. They had 6 guys that they could play, and realistically, one of those guys was Russell Westbrook, who would give you terrible games. The Wolves are much more deep in the sense that they can have 3-4 guys off the bench, and they can play a lot more. So for me, I'm looking at this series, and it's going to be, can Ant make the decisions that are going to be the right team decisions instead of the right superhero Ant-Man decisions?
Right.
I'd add something to this, by the way. Julius Randle's not going to look like he has in that series. This last stretch where he converts 74% of the shots around the rim, it's the greatest stretch, according to Cleaning the Glass, that he's ever hit. Any season, playoff run, any time. He simply won't be able to do that against this defense. He will be vastly more inefficient than he's been because he's always been inefficient, and OKC will make him inefficient. The other thing I think is interesting in this series is that the Thunder had 74 steals against Denver. It's the most in 30 years in a playoff series. That's absurd. You can't be stealing the ball that much. And I'm telling you, hunting dogs chasing down an elephant. Jokic is exhausted, and that's why that happened. I don't believe Minnesota will be a challenge for OKC. I think they're going to be inefficient because OKC is going to make them inefficient.
Yep, clip it. You guys know what to do. Clip that and play this around game 3 whenever the Timberwolves are up 3-0. But now you pose an interesting point, dog, because like you say, it's their inefficiency and their youth that sometimes be the gift and the curse with the Thunder. So I think they may have cleaned up a lot of that stuff by going through a 7-game series with the former champs, the Denver Nuggets. So yeah, it could be a problem, but I don't know. But speaking of a problem, I think that we're facing right now with the NBA, we got to announce the NBA MVP way sooner than this right here. We should announce the MVP right after the regular season. Let's not even wait till the round 1, round 2. Let's get this out of the way because shortly we're going to have to announce Finals, Eastern Conference Finals MVP, Western Conference Finals MVP, and it's gonna be overshadowed. I feel like, what if SGA has a piss poor performance in this series or whatever? So, Adam Silver, announce these MVPs a little sooner, brother.
We'll get to polls in a second. I just want to run it by you because it's fodder around these parts. Do you think it's at all possible that Bill Belichick is learning with the rest of us that he's engaged?
Yeah, I think I don't know. Matter of fact, I want to salute my sister, Jordan. You feel me? Like, look, she doing what she got to do. Like, she's been a good woman. She's supporting her man. As well, all I can see so far, I haven't seen her be a harm to the brother. I seen her save him from himself in instances, got him on the beach doing yoga. I salute my little sis because she getting the job done. You feel me?
Put it on the poll.
That's a fine.
Can you rule out that Bill Belichick is just learning of his engagement at Le Batard Show? What are your thoughts here? I said earlier with Jamel that I thought you were very good on the subject of Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark yesterday, and how it just is insulting to the WNBA that people like me are perpetually gravitating toward the stories that aren't the stories that merit commentary because of the play. What are your thoughts about RG3's reaction, though, as I make that apology and then go straight back to it? RG3 and Ryan Clark and that particular back and forth.
Yeah, I think it's very unfortunate that the Shania Gumagways, the Rise of Goals of the world don't get more of their opinion blasted. It's like me having an opinion of Erling Haaland. You know what? You know how I know Erling Haaland hates Lamine Yamal, and then I go viral for that. The Chris Whittinghams of the world would be like, brother, what in the hell is you doing? Like, you don't watch this as much as I do. And I feel like, unfortunately, we live in such a clickbaity world. We live in where likes and views matter the most, that this type of propaganda gets spewed and spread it. And I think it does a disservice to the game that we pay so much attention to these novices. Ask RG3, what was the Wings versus the Storm score last night? Can you tell me that? And then I want to hear your opinion on some of these matters. But I think that it's just very unfortunate, man, especially for a brother like himself with such a big platform to spew some of these incorrect things about the sister. You did, like Jamel said, bro, this black woman means a lot to a lot of black women around the world, so does Caitlin Clark mean a lot to a lot of little Caucasian girls around the world. We shouldn't have to pit them against each other, especially in a 30-point loss. You feel me? Like it doesn't bode well for the sport, and it doesn't bode well for the mental health of these sisters. I've been lied on. I've been had false narratives created about myself by people who had clear intentions to take me out before. You feel me? So I know how it feels to be on the other side of this. You dig it? Sorry for going on a rant. But look, if my reality, if my lived experiences trigger you, then you, sir, are a part of the problem.
This has happened with the UFC before, where you beg for the coverage and then you get the coverage and you don't love how the coverage feels because the coverage isn't the way that you want it to feel.
Might not always be perfect.
The other thing that I want to say, though, about that Minnesota series before I get clipped is there is no player in the NBA better in defending the rim than Chet Holmgren, not Victor Wembanyama.
This is incredible analysis from you. Do you got something on Edmonton, Dallas, too? Like, what is happening right now? Where were you during against the spread? I could have used this. I'm taking OKC.
I don't like previewing games. I'm just telling you that Gobert, Wembanyama, none of these people are as good defending the rim as Chet Holmgren, like by percentage. The league average is 61% at the rim. Against him, it's like 44 or 45%.
You keep looking at what you got.
I looked something.
You got that Glengarry leads
what do you
over
have
there.
in there, huh?
I looked up something. I looked something up on a computer.
How'd you Google that?
Yeah.
Hours of research.
Give me that stuff.
What do you have for polls for us, JuJu?
Yes, sir. Before I get to the poll, I want to thank the show today because before y'all mentioned it today, I thought the New Orleans Pelicans' Jose Alvarado was out 80 games of the season. I was like, that's the whole season. But thank you for letting me know that there's a pitcher named Jose Alvarado.
I looked at Mike. I was like, damn, I didn't even hear that.
Right. Poll number 1. Did the Bash Brothers invent weightlifting? 59% of the audience says yes, they did.
Really?
Wow. Arnold's going to be pissed.
Is it impossible to not make the NIT tournament when you have a healthy number 1 pick on your team? 80% of the audience says yes, it is impossible.
I think they turned down the invite, to be fair.
Are German pounds different than American pounds? 85% of the audience says yes, they are.
Everyone knew that.
I didn't know it. Do you get vertigo while sitting in the movie seats during a horror movie? Salute to Zaz. 67% of the audience says no, they don't, brother.
Vertigo sucks. I would only wish it on my worst enemy.
Does Del Rey's annual garlic festival slay?
This is big.
66% of the audience says yes, it does slay, Greg.
Yes.
Do you improve your wardrobe by saying, I look good, yo? 73% of the audience says yes, you do.
Hell yeah.
Who do you want to win the championship? Whew, this is a big poll.
This is a big one.
29% of the audience say they want the Timberwolves to win the championship.
Wow.
Give us all those
I'll
results.
bet the Knicks aren't even number 2.
The Knicks are number 2 with 28% of
No
the
one
audience.
cares
close.
about number 2.
We can all
No
agree
one
the Knicks are
cares.
number 2.
Is
No
it
one
fully
cares.
split,
Yeah.
JuJu, or like the other two in the 20s? Obviously.
Yeah, 23% say Thunder and 20% say Pacers.
That's a split. That's
that's
as
a good
split
poll.
as I've ever seen 4
Yeah.
teams. That's pretty good.
right. As a Celtics fan, I gotta admit, I kind of want to see what the world looks like when Gotham City burns. I want the Knicks to kind of do it. I love Ant-Man, but it'll just be cinema. Are most grandfathers racist? 85% of the audience says yes, they are.
Sorry, Dad.
Are we still making Ebenezer's? 89% of the audience says no, we are not. Which is worse, glum, sullen, or sad? 60% of the audience says sullen.
Wow.
And last poll,
Shocker.
more surprising scene in a movie: the umpire stabbing a player, attaboy Bobby, or the running back shooting a gun. 54% of the audience says the umpire stabbing a player, and those are your polls.
Dad, you can wait till we're done to start packing up.
I'm sorry.
At least he's still
My voice-
here.
I know. It's true. Where the hell Dan go?
Where did it go? Where'd Batard go?
My voice does that to people.